What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of a new series I want to kick off here on the channel. Pretty much just going over any noteworthy gaming news that happens from the weekend to Friday and kind of keep us organized. It'll be about handhelds, game sales, new game releases, things like that. I'll try to keep it as fast paced as I can, but I want to be able to hit on a lot of different things every week that I find interesting. There are definitely heavier weeks than others. Some are a little bit more dry, but I think we'll always find some good stuff here to talk about every Friday or to go over from the news section. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We'll kick off this week by jumping into the new games we've seen this week that you might want to check out. So first off, I wasn't really expecting this one myself, and I'm not the biggest Among Us fan. I've played a little bit of the regular 2D whatever Among Us, but they've now released on May 6th Among Us 3D. So if you're a fan of Among Us and you've been waiting to check this out, it's on sale till May 20th, $7.99 on Steam if you want to jump in and check it out. But yeah, Among Us 3 here for May 6th. Now, next up, we have the sequel to Spirit of the North. Now, this was a third-person game where you play as an isolated fox with a raven companion. I don't know if you guys have played the original. I played a good bit of it. I didn't beat it. But the sequel here for May 8th, again, this is on sale till May 22nd over on Steam for $25.49, 15% off. So a few positive reviews. We'll see how this one goes. I did like the original, so if you played that and have been waiting for the sequel, Spirit of the North 2 is here for you. Now, I don't know if you remember the game Lost in Random. I actually played through a ton of that game and really liked it. So from those same people, we've got the Midnight Walk, and this is basically a kind of stop motion style, maybe think South of Midnight, horror kind of dark adventure game. So this also just came out on May 8th. It's got a little over 100 very positive reviews. It's on sale until May 15th for 10% off at $35.99 on Steam. So if this is up your alley, might be one that you want to check out. And the final game I'll mention for this week is Revenge of the Savage Planet. This came out May 8th as well, and this is a sequel to the Journey to the Savage Planet. So if you're a fan of that game, you're likely to like this one. Now, I've gotten in and started playing this one a little bit. I haven't gotten to check it on all the handhelds yet or see performance, but it seems fairly easy to run. But yeah, this one is also on sale right now for its launch. So there's a bundle that comes with Journey to the Savage Planet and also Revenge of the Savage Planet. So this one's out and ready for you if you want to check it out. Now, I did mention these are available to play over on cloud, at least a couple of them. So if you're a big GeForce Now fan like me, especially for your handheld gaming, Revenge of the Savage Planet and Spirit of the North 2 are both over on GFN. Now, if you have Game Pass or you like to use xCloud, which I also use quite a bit, Revenge of the Savage Planet is over there, available to stream or download and play on your device. But that's the only game of the 4 that I saw over on Xbox Cloud Gaming for now anyways. So Revenge of the Savage Planet, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and GeForce Now. Spirit of the North 2 also over on GFN. All right, with our intro and game releases out of the way, let's get a little more into it with some bigger news, with some general gaming news that landed this week, and also some Switch 2 and, of course, handheld PC news, because there was a lot of stuff that came out from the handheld space this week that I'm looking forward to getting into. So let's get ready to jump into that. But before we do, a word from today's video sponsor. It seems gaming is getting more expensive than ever. We're looking at one of the most expensive handheld console, PC hardware, and games generations ahead. And that's why it's great to have a place like Eneba, who I've used for years to save on all of our digital gaming needs. Eneba is a safe and secure way to save on over 40,000 digital gaming products, with more being added all the time, including new and old titles, as well as gift cards, e-cards, and more. Whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, or many more, Eneba has you covered. Need a Windows key? Yep, they've got you covered there as well. Simply make your free Eneba account, pick the game or digital product you want to buy, and add it to your cart for checkout. Eneba offers various safe and secure ways to pay for your purchase to make it as easy as possible. If you should run into any issues, Eneba does offer 24/7 live support to resolve any issues with your purchases. So why pay more for gaming than you have to? Whether you're a PC or console gamer, Eneba has you covered. Pretty much anything you need for your digital gaming life. I've used Eneba for years, and if you're interested in saving on some gaming, please use the links in the description below to check them out. All right, so moving on with the video, let's go ahead and jump into some more general gaming news that I picked out of things that happened this past week or so. And this is actually some pretty interesting stuff, and there's way more I could have threw in here, but let's go ahead and get into it, starting with Gears of War Reloaded coming to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox PC, Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation 5, and Steam in summer 2025. This is actually going to come out August 26th this year for $39.99 for all of the platforms. This is also coming with some obviously remastered features. Now, we had a Gears of War Ultimate Edition that already had some stuff remastered and upgraded in the resolution and that kind of thing. But this is going to have more of that. And it's also going to have cross play with this version for all the platforms. And I think that's probably another big reason why they're making this version. So it works together on all the platforms so that you can play co op story, you can play camp, or you can play multiplayer, all that kind of stuff. So as an Xbox fan since the original OG Xbox that I got at launch, and someone who's played all the Gears of War games, it's going to be very interesting to see this showing up over on the PlayStation 5 or on my PlayStation 5. We're seeing physical copies of it out there. I mean, even seeing this stuff show up on Steam was different for a little while, but on PlayStation, certainly interesting. And when the Switch 2 comes out, what all are we going to see over there that has not been announced yet? So yeah, anyway, I thought that was really interesting, and I know I'm looking forward to playing through this again. Really love the original Gears of War. I would have preferred at least a trilogy, 1, 2, or 3, and maybe we'll still get 2 and 3. They keep doing 1, but we'll see what happens. All right, so the next one is obviously a big one with Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, Rockstar delayed this to May 26th of next year in 2026. So May 26, 2026, we'll see if they really stick with that. But then they immediately dropped trailer number 2, and this thing went insane. Now, it passed 475 million views in just the first day. So nothing like saying sorry for the delay, like putting out a trailer right away that everyone can check out. And it's quite a long trailer. I'm not going to show it here because Rockstar is pretty strict, and I've been hit by them before just by showing things. But yeah, this has been a pretty big week for GTA 6 and for GTA fans with that delay, but then also with the excitement from that trailer and just in the first day past 475 million views. So I thought that was just pretty interesting and pretty insane. Now, something else pretty cool we got this week as well, with a full panel actually at PAX East, was also the trailer for Mafia: The Old Country. Now, this is a much smaller game than talking about GTA, but I'm a fan of the Mafia series, even though it hasn't always landed perfectly or been as big of a series. And what they're doing with this one is something that I'm pretty happy about. It's looking like it's a more narrowed, story driven, kind of focused $50 game that's going to be coming out this year. So I'm really interested to check this one out, test on all the handhelds, and hopefully just play through it. I'm thinking they're giving us something that's going to be a 10 to 15 hour, very curated story linear experience for that $50 that I'm hoping will be really good. But yeah, a fan of Mafia here, hoping that The Old Country winds up being a good one, and I wanted to mention it here. All right, so the final bit of gaming news I want to mention this week is N64 shooter GoldenEye 007, a game near and dear to me that I played at launch on my N64, and I just played the heck out of that game. It's officially been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame along with some other titles. So with the results being in after it missed its 2023 chance, Rare's iconic first-person shooter GoldenEye 007 has finally been inducted into the World Video Game Hall of Fame, and it is about time. If any game, especially back from that era, deserves to get into the Hall of Fame, it is GoldenEye 007. All right, and before we jump into our main PC handheld news, because there's a lot of stuff to hit on there, I do want to go over a few things for the Nintendo Switch 2. I know I have mine pre-ordered for midnight release, and I'm really looking forward to this system coming out. I've always been a huge Nintendo fan, even though I don't cover it a ton here on the channel. I'm sure I'll have some Switch 2 stuff coming up. But anyways, let's jump into the news here for the Switch 2. So first off, Nintendo is sending those pre-order invites out through the My Nintendo store. So if you registered, you were able to register all the way back to, I believe it was April 2nd during that direct, you should be in the lottery to receive an invite to be able to pre-order from My Nintendo. Now this started in the UK on May 7th and in the US on May 8th. I am recording this the morning of Friday, May 9th to get the video ready, and I've not received an email for the My Nintendo order yet. I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments if you've gotten an email for the My Nintendo pre-order, and if you did, how that worked out. That would be interesting to know. I've already got my pre-order in, so on midnight release, GameStop, in-store pickup, should be a lot of fun. So I'm not too fussed about it, but I would have liked the opportunity, so I'll keep an eye out there. Now, here's something that probably is no surprise because they just announced over 152 million total units sold now for the original Switch, but Nintendo says we will continue to bring new titles for the over 100 million people worldwide who are playing Switch. And that's no real surprise, I would imagine, for a year to 2 years, and who knows really how much longer some developers may put games on the original Switch with so many systems out there. But for at least a year or two, I would expect some, cross generational stuff there with Nintendo between the two platforms, the Switch 2 and the original Switch. Though I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of games that are only Switch 2 that'll be coming out as well. But yeah, there will be plenty of support, at least for a little while, for those original Switch systems. Now, I know everybody's talking about Cyberpunk and Elden Ring and being able to check those out on the Switch 2, and Cyberpunk is day one. I'll definitely be checking it out. But another day one game is Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I played this on all different platforms and systems, but I also played it on my original Switch, where it was obviously the worst experience when it came to playing Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm actually looking forward to this launch day, June 5th, updated version of Hogwarts Legacy that's supposed to be coming. Now, it says here that according to 4Gamer, Japanese press release states that Hogwarts Legacy will run up to 1440p resolution while docked and 1080p in handheld mode thanks to NVIDIA's DLSS support. So I would imagine in handheld mode it's upscaling anywhere from like 540 to 720 or something in that range to 1080 if I were to guess, to keep the frame rate and settings higher. And then when you dock it, I would imagine it's upscaling to a max of 1440p while trying to still maintain some higher settings for you there in frame rate. It says, besides the upgraded resolution, the game will receive a major visual boost with improved lighting, anti-aliasing, and notably an improved frame rate. It's worth highlighting that the Switch port of the critically acclaimed title runs at a playable 30 FPS, but at a sacrifice of visual quality and potential dips. Yeah, anyone that played the game on the original Switch knows. So I'm actually looking forward to doing kind of a comparison on this game, especially because we do have an original on Switch 1, unlike Cyberpunk, that we can compare the platform. So I'm really interested in that. Let me know what you guys think. But I mean, I've played through this game quite a few times, but I'll play through it some more because I definitely want to check it out. Now, the final thing for the Switch 2 this week, and I don't think this is necessarily a big surprise, Nintendo forecasts sales of 15 million Switch 2 consoles as it gears up for launch. And that is in their first fiscal year. So that's going to be, I believe, up until March of 2026. So it says in the first sales forecast, Nintendo says it expects to sell 15 million units of the Switch 2 in the fiscal year ending, March 2026. So between June 5th and somewhere around the mid to end March of 2026, they're expecting 15 million units. And I would imagine they'll be able to do it. They were talking about selling anywhere from 8 to 10 million between June 5th and the holiday season. They might be predicting more than that now because they did come out and say that sales are even more than they expected. Pre-orders are even more than they expected, which I find hard to believe. But yeah, I could definitely see this happening. Nintendo's going to come out pretty strong here. Will this console reach the over 150 million sold of the original? That remains to be seen, but I don't think they're going to have any trouble reaching that 80 to 100 million units in its life cycle at a minimum, and I think they'll do quite well. It is going to maintain being the biggest mainstream handheld that we have, while the PC handhelds are fun, fantastic. They're still very niche, with Steam Deck somewhere around 4 million last I heard in sales, and another 2 million total between Asus, Lenovo, and MSI. 6.5 million between those companies since 2022. So it is a much smaller market right now, especially with costs going up over there versus something like the Switch 2. So yeah, really interesting here. I expect Nintendo will pull off those sales, and I know I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on one. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on and jump into the final part for this week, our handheld PC news. All right, guys, let's jump into the final, and for me, probably the more exciting part of videos like this or news during the week, which is for handheld PCs. It's just such a fun space, and it's why I do so much with them here on the channel. Well, we've got some stuff with drivers, pricing, and that Xbox or Ally 2 leak. Some of this stuff I covered in individual videos earlier in the week, but let's go ahead and jump into it here all in one spot. Some of the handheld PC news we've got for the week. All right, so like I said, we've got some new driver stuff this week. So first off, the Intel Arc driver, we've got the 6790. So this maintains all the performance increases we got from the past couple of drivers that Intel's been touting recently, with at least 10% increase in performance on the Claw 8 and 7 with the drivers. But this 6790 is a new one for May 3rd. You can download and install directly on your Claw device, or you could wait for it to officially come out in MSI Center. But this fixes some issues. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide, The Last of Us Part 2 with flickering and corruption on shadows, and Intel Core Ultra Series 2 with built-in Intel Arc GPUs. Blender may experience compatibility issues while interacting with camera gizmo. So these types of things are things that they had fixed, and some other known issues throughout here. But yeah, Intel's got another new driver out here. They've been putting them out pretty quick. I mean, I've had probably 10, 12 driver updates since January when I got my Claw 8. I always feel like I'm getting some new drivers from Intel there. Now, also, we've got a new AMD driver. Now, this isn't official for handhelds, but I know a lot of you guys, including myself sometimes, will sideload these drivers onto your Legion Go or your Ally device and go from there. So this is 25.5.1 that's out. You can go and download and install. Now, I have, it's not a super simple process. It is a sideloading process. It is not official. I have plenty of videos covering the process. It's never changed. It's the same thing. You're just downloading the newer version and following the steps. I'll put a link to this kind of guide in the description for you as well. But yeah, 25.5.1. This has support for Doom the Dark Ages and F1 25 here. So Doom the Dark Ages being a big one. If we run into any issues on, say, the Legion Go or one of the allies running Doom the Dark Ages for any reason, you'd be able to try this if you sideloaded it onto the device. So yeah, another new one from AMD there. All right, so here's an interesting one. We got an official update from ASUS for the ROG Ally and Ally X, bringing Fluid Motion Frames 2.1 over. This also updated the driver from a December driver to a March dated driver. Now, I'm using this and have loaded it onto these devices, but it hasn't seemed to roll out in my ASUS or Armory Crate or anything. A lot of you aren't getting the update. The assumption here is that they possibly pulled it because it was causing some issues with some games like Last of Us 2, or maybe slowed the rollout. So I'm not sure what all is happening with that. I'm still using the driver just fine, and I've had no problems with it. As a matter of fact, it's been working really well for me, but I'm not playing Last of Us 2 or maybe other things that might have been having a problem. So we'll see what happens there. Just want to throw an update out there. Yes, they had an official driver come out, but I'm not so sure it's rolling out for everybody or if it got delayed or what's happening there. So I'll try to keep you updated. Now, the next thing I want to talk about really quickly is handheld PC pricing. And I know I talked about this the other day in a video. If you want to check it out, I got a little bit more into all the pricing stuff. And of course, there's multiple things happening here that are causing prices to be higher with these handheld PCs right now, and of course a lot of other things out there, but these in particular were already just more expensive in 2025. Handheld gaming was already increasing in price, and then you add tariff things and other stuff on top of it, and it compounds more. So the Legion Go S SteamOS model Z1 Extreme was $750. That's what I pre-ordered mine for review, and it's up $80 at 100 or 830. The Z2 Go model of that was $550 that I originally said should have been $499 is now up another $50 to $599 if you're going to get that one. I pre-ordered mine at $550. The Windows version Z1 Extreme, which we didn't have here in North America yet, we had the Z2 Go version, has raised in price also up to $900 for that version. All of these just getting priced way out of something that I think are going to be really able to be recommended over other things, but we'll have to see what happens, especially when I get these two in for review. Now, here's another one, a big one for me, the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, one of my top recommended, still one of my favorite handhelds right now while I'm waiting for other things to come out. Those of us that got this at $899 got a pretty good deal. We were complaining about some of the pricing before, but this has gone up another $100 to be $1,000 for the 8 AI Plus. And even the 7 AI Plus went up $100 from $799 to $899, the price of what the 8 was. So I really hope this stuff is going to wind up coming back down. But even if things politically were to completely change or cool off or whatever the case may be, or go back to what it was, I'm not so convinced or sure that these companies actually start backing the prices back down. All right, so the final thing we'll hit on this week, and everybody's been talking about this one, and I covered this in an individual video, the ASUS ROG Ally 2 gaming handhelds that had leaked out. And this was expected to possibly be the partnered devices with with ASUS. So ROG Ally 2 leaks, new design, larger screen. Not actually larger screen. These are pretty much confirmed, at least these prototype models, to be the 7-inch size screen. They look like the same screens we already have, which I hope not. I was hoping for a larger screen device, but so far, at least with these ones, 7-inch, it's got like the Xbox button there. It's got all the regular layouts, but it's got these handles or grips on the side that everybody's been talking about here, and I just really don't like the look. I don't think anybody really likes the look of it. It's probably very comfortable. Nobody's really arguing that, but just aesthetically, and also I've talked to a few people. There's no way that in 2025 this chunky thing is what we're gonna get. I think this is prototype stuff, just testing the hardware. But man, we'll have to see what they really do with the design. Now, as far as spec wise, these are looking to be the black model, the Z2 Extreme that we've all been waiting for, the 8-core, 36-watt. The white model, though, looks to potentially be the successor to the Steam Deck chip, the Aerith Plus, which they call the Super Steam Deck chip, so a bit more performance than the deck at 20 watts with 16 gigabytes of RAM there. So I don't know. We'll have to see how these pan out, what the prices are going to be like, what they actually look like when they get announced. But yeah, this has definitely been something everybody's been talking about all week. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Episode 1 of the weekly news roundup of a lot of different things in gaming and handhelds and all of that kind of thing. So I have a lot of ideas how to kind of format, change, and smooth things out. It might have been a little clunky here the first time, but for all you guys that hung out, watched, checked it out, I really appreciate it. Hopefully it turns into something really good here on the channel and a nice place to kind of cover everything that I want to cover. And another huge thanks to Eneba for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for some great deals on all of your digital gaming needs and that type of thing, e-cards, gift cards, games, whatever, make sure you check them out. All the links will be in the description down below. And as always, guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.